No more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our episode of Club Baroness. This is Season 2, Episode 7. We are going to be doing a quarterfinal and semifinal recap, as well as predictions for the finals, and a few other topics. I'm going to introduce our guests for tonight. We have Afin, Shou,
Yo.
Goatrix,
Hi.
Evolution.
Still alive.
We have Filthy,
Oi.
and we have Silent79. Sorry, he's under a different name in the chat here.
Jackpotting as usual.
Yeah, we have the picture, as you can see here, at the beginning of our recording, which is Silent himself there. And so let's go ahead and get started with the first match here. We're going to be talking about the quarterfinals first. Zexus and Xanxus versus Poor Choices and Kamikaze Mario. Goatrix, did you catch that match yourself? Goatrix?
Oh, you're aiming at me, Jesus. Repeat it again. Sorry.
Xanxus and Zexus versus Poor Choices and Kamikaze Mario?
I watched part of it, yeah. It's pretty ugly. Just they couldn't get anything off the ground against them.
Okay, well, that was a very in-depth and appreciative analysis there. It was a pretty brutal series. It was a 3-0 in the favor of Xanxus and Zexus. Did anybody else catch that? Have any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I gotta give props to Mario and Poor Choices. Not many teams can say that they went 3 rounds with X and Z and didn't not one time try to hang on them. They tried to duke it out, tried to box, and they got outboxed. I mean, there's not much to it. They knew what they were going into. Xanxus and Zexus are very formidable opponents. They're pretty much at the top of everyone's list for, to win it or, just shy of. And, I mean, we all had expectations and we all had our underdog. And, I mean, it kind of came out the way most people thought it would. But at least, Choices of Mario, they went in there, they tried to do their thing, and it was a straight up fight. So
The first thing I remember seeing was how much Xanxus were comboing, more so than the previous matches. Like, that shit took me off guard. So Mario, they stayed in there, especially the refinery match. Like, they just hung around. They made it into a dogfight. So that, yeah, I enjoyed that series a whole bunch.
I think it was definitely an enjoyable series to watch. I really enjoyed seeing kind of a resurgence of Xanxus and Zexus. They looked pretty mortal there for a little bit in some of the Swiss rounds, but they came back really strong here. I think I heard you had a comment there, Silent.
Yeah, I seen that they started on lane, didn't they?
Yeah, it started on lane and then it progressed in reverse order through refinery.
And I see, I would have the strategy with them because they're so good together is I would always start refinery with them.
To be fair, Xanxus and Zexus chose to start on lane.
Yeah, and that's just ugh.
Which is weird because I consider that a jumper map.
I mean, historically, lane has been a very strong map for Xanxus and Zexus. I would say it's a better map for jumpers, but they've always been very good there. So it is a map that they're confident on.
Yeah, I mean...
And see, initially me, because I run Jackpot in just about every deck, I would think that lane would be I would own them on lane, but they're actually good enough to dodge that for me playing them. So I would actually prefer to fight them on refinery, and I hate refinery.
I honestly think they were just trying to get the
map. It goes to show that they're that good that you have to choose map to your advantage.
Yeah, I mean, refinery was like, we saw Choices of Mario actually get a decent lead there starting on refinery.
Yeah. And then unfortunately,
Yeah, that one came down to the wire, too. There was a missed
Yeah, you got to jump out on them.
Yeah, I felt like what a lot of the mid-table teams, like some of these teams that have gone out in the quarterfinals, and we'll talk about more of these here in a minute, but I feel like what a lot of these mid-table teams, some of the ones that didn't make quarters, some of the ones that were eliminating quarters, like they could get the pressure on, but they struggled to keep it on long enough to close out a game against a top team like Xanxus and Zexus. And I feel like that was one of the problems that Choices and Mario had, is they had good starts, they got some good damage in sometimes, but eventually they just couldn't keep the pressure on long enough to close out the match.
Yeah.
Match. They had that one won, except for I think Choices fell off at the end there, or it was a Mario, and that ruined it for them.
Yeah.
Like up until that moment, they had a good chance of winning that round.
Talking Refinery?
Match.
Did they do any double teaming?
It's hard to double team Xanxus and Zexus because their presence alone is enough pressure to get teams to leave a spawn. I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of times when teams go into double team either X or Z, as soon as the other one shows up, it's like, oh shit, and they usually back off. And that reputation alone is.
Well, you get to do it quick.
Yeah, you have to. There's no way around it because their arsenals. They're not. If you thought a top tier team, if you put one in your mind, you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to see in arsenals, and then you have Xanxus and Zexus, and you see Stone Shot, and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
And Debris Bullet and Laser, which has been a new one for Zexus. I think they started running a lot more like low cost stuff to offset the amount of stuff that they typically overwrite, because normally they're running 17 or 18 in skills, and they have to have something to compensate for those potentially bad aura draws.
And you still got to be wary of Bravery. They do run that occasionally too.
And it's so hard to double team a team like that because they set up so fast. And and they're dodging. Come on, there ain't a cartwheeling team in this game that is able to dodge as good as they do. So it's very, very difficult. And I'd rather play Geigen in a match again than
have to run paralyzed.
I feel like one of the things that's not touched on with Zexus, especially, that is really good about both of these players, is like because we're talking about how he runs the Stone Shot and the Laser, right? And anybody else that runs Stone Shot and Laser, like Flash Hole, just like shuts you down, right? Or Array Shields in general tend to be really rough on you. But one thing I've just noticed when I watch Zexus play, especially, and also Xanxus, is just how well they play around some of these Array Shields, even when they don't have attacks. Like you're like, oh, they'll eventually be able to break that and trade for it. Like usually, what I want to do is I want to trade a blaster or a rock shot to get rid of the shield so I can use a better attack later, or one of my low-cost ones to spam them down. But we see Zexus, go in with this Tiger Strength and a Laser and just put down tons of damage on somebody, or he'll just run Stone Shot and he puts down tons of damage on people.
And that's the thing. Like, most teams think to themselves, okay, I need to break that shield. Xanxus and Zexus, I feel like they do, but most of the time it's like, who cares? We don't need to break it. We'll just shoot. You shoot something into the ground, and I'll time it perfectly. And it's like it always ends up just perfect.
That's the mark of the team.
That's why you got to get on them quick.
Well, it's not even just the faking. It's not even just the faking, but like when they, with their timing, like the way that they coordinate their attacks, even if the one doesn't fake, like it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. You could be against him, and you're like, oh, he has a Stone Shot. You see him shoot it at your teammate, and you're like, perfect. I got a Flash Hole in base, no problem. 15 fucking hits later, he's still got that same Stone Shot. And you're like, what the hell? Shit.
Or you go over there with your Flash Hole, and the other one hits you with Ice Sword. Now what do you do?
I mean, it's
Tuck
brutal.
tail and run.
That's why I said I gotta give it up to Poor Choices Mario for trying a boxing match against Mike Tyson. It was impressive.
I think they communicate, and we don't know that they communicate excellent.
Well, a lot of times they're playing.
I
right
think
next
they tell each other exactly what they have, so they know exactly what to bring to you.
Well, see, when I'm teaming up with somebody, we're communicating cross country. A lot of times, these two are sitting in the same living room.
Well, there's that, and just also like I don't think there's any team currently in Phantom Dust that can say they've put in as much time and as many games together as Xanxus and Zexus have, and like
absolutely not.
They know exactly what each other does in every situation, and they have it down to a T, and that's the kind of synergy that you can't overrate.
They're just good at being teams too, because I teamed with Zexus a few times. I hate tag teams, but I'm in with Zexus one time, and I'm shit. I'm god awful, and I didn't have my mic plugged in. But Zexus drug me to victories just talking to the air with me not responding, and he was great. Like, I learned shit just listening to him get mad at me and pull me into winning matches. The teamwork aspect, even when they're not with each other, they're just good at it. Plain and simple.
Wait, Zexus talks to you?
He did. Well, he was yelling at me.
He talks to good players.
All I ever hear is "fuck" and then mutes his mic. My God,
It was fuck. Come on, Afin. Let's come, Afin. What are you doing? No, now.
Like I said, he talks to good players. Well, I guess we're going to be talking about them more. We have another matchup of them, and they are in the final. So we're going to be talking about Xanxus and Zexus plenty. So we can come back to just how much we love Xanxus and Zexus here in a little bit.
Yeah, no need.
We have plenty of time to continue talking about that team. Fantastic though they are. And we'll move into our next quarterfinal matchup, which is going to be Sandal and Evolution versus Reborn Guinan and Mr. Math.
Do we have to talk about that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got to talk about your quarterfinals appearance. Hey, I mean, at least you made playoffs this time, Evolution, so you should give yourself some credit on that one, even though it may not have been pretty.
Pat on the back.
I mean, me and Esper came in last place in the last tournament, so yeah, I was, rainbows of happiness.
It just sucked
Now
that you
you
guys
gotta
had to replay them so quickly after the pools match. That
really hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, that's demoralizing on its own too. Like, I gotta give you guys that. Like, you just lost to it. Like, oh, go play him again.
Twice.
Yeah, that definitely hurt the pride a little bit.
Sorry, what was that, Filthy?
I'm just saying I don't want to really hear the who I played argument because Daffy and I played Bringing a Monkey twice and they were the top seed.
That's true.
That's true. You guys had the same thing happen. It sucked for you guys too.
It wasn't quite back to back, but it still wasn't fun, I imagine.
Wasn't back to back, and no, I'm just saying let's not make that argument because other people had it worse.
That's true. I mean, Evolution's team that he had to play twice actually ended up in finals, while the one you played lost like a pansy. But let's talk a little bit more about this quarterfinals matchup, though. Filthy, did you get a chance to watch this one?
No, I didn't watch it, but I mean the result was kind of expected. Like, I don't think anybody was guessing who was winning which matches in the quarterfinals at all.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do a quarterfinals video, so it's hard for me to provide evidence to the contrary there. But
no, but if you look at the seeds and teams that were made up, it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, the quarterfinals weren't nearly as close as the semifinals, in my opinion. But I feel like there were still good matches. We did see some more attempted jank out of Evolution and Sandal, but it didn't really pay off. And I feel like, again, the more I've been watching this team of Guinan and Math as well, the more I've been impressed with Math. He's somebody that I've loved to dog on, especially whenever I played him in the 1v1. I tore him down pretty bad, and I started to think that Math was somewhat a little bit more mediocre, but he's really been impressing me almost every single round of this tournament. I've been really impressed with Math.
I think Math's a great player, and I think
Guinan's a great player. Math's original partner Vito?
Math was Vito in Math.
That was his old name. Was Vito.
So he was Vito in Math. Who did he partner with in the old tournament?
In the last tournament, he was with I Will Writer.
Multitude?
I think he means
I Will Writer.
Back in the day, I'm not sure who he used to partner with.
I think he was just kind of
who
a
was
free
missing from this tournament. Will.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Will started playing again, so maybe we'll see him in the 1v1 or in the next tag tournament. Could see a resurgence of the rider. Could be fun.
His weird fucking dicks.
That's true.
Chaos and Dance of Death coming your way.
We'll talk a little bit more about what we hope to see in maybe some future tag tournaments. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to touch on with this matchup of Evolution versus Guinan and Math?
What have we actually touched on?
Not much, which is why I was hoping somebody would.
I'll say that I am a fan of jank. I love seeing arsenals where people try to stick it to people in one very specific way. It's usually my curse. I try to build decks that revolve around one thing happening with a bunch of other things setting it up. So I love it when that works, but it just didn't go that way. So I was just disappointed in that. I was rooting for you guys.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
there was a lot of moments where I feel like we could have taken it. And I'm not trying to live in the past on it, but like City, for example, we made a very bad mistake there. I was putting pressure on Gagnon with triple lasers. We had him low health. We didn't know it at that very moment that he was running crystallization, but Sandal jumped off. That was 3 health gone. Then hit a Mephisto's Pact to get a Chaos. There's another 3 health gone. And then when he jumped to hang it, fell off again. So 9 health gone. And Chaos didn't even affect Gagnon. Where, those mistakes are so crucial in these games. I feel like City could have went a different way, but it didn't. Panorama was just a shit show all around. I mean, there was still
you couldn't get him off that with.
Yeah, and it was working, but I don't know. Like, it just seemed like their
Blazing
Panorama arsenal. It seemed to me like they had an answer for almost anything. Because I mean, there was hyper kick involved, there was flame sword, it was crazy. It was a close match. It could have went either way, and it went in their favor.
Well, as you know, Evolution, and everybody here knows, when you're on Panorama, there's maybe 3 arsenals you're going to run.
Right.
If you don't have the
agree. I agree. The whole Ricochet laser with Force Sanctuary, the Ricochet Force Sanctuary, I'm the one who presented that, and I liked it so much, the idea behind it, because I know I've never seen a team do it in a tournament. I've seen Force Sanctuary on Panorama, I've seen all that, but Ricochet usually isn't played unless there's an opti to back it. But I really like the fact that I could still put a heat on and still do damage. And so I tried to run with that, and Santa wasn't too happy about it. And looking back now, I can say, yeah, we probably should have ran with something else. But sometimes when you get a gut feeling, man,
partner. Yeah, we had a coordinated deck for that.
Well, we did coordinate for it. We just maybe I should have listened to Sandal on that one, I think, because he wanted to try something else. Couple different options, really, and I mean, they were all viable. All of them were great. I had my mindset. I really wanted to run Force Sanctuary with a +1 Ricochet. I thought it would work way better than it did, but I ended up getting double teamed towards the end of the match quite a bit, and it was rough and hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
You still have a slow Ricochet laser, and then it's still super susceptible to all the erase shields. And then you have to limit your attacks further because of Forest Sanctuary. So, yeah, I mean, it's cute and the idea is cute, but just not enough there to really, push it all the way.
A race shield really wasn't the issue. I mean, the slowness of it was what did me in, because it was putting in damage when I was firing it. But, and then there were, another thing too, and I try to talk to players about this all the time. There were, even if you can't help, even if you have no attacks, like we were saying earlier about Xenxus and Zexus, if your partner's getting double teamed or they're going to
show
attack,
up, man. You got to show up to the party.
Run over there.
You got to be there, no matter what. Just go.
You got to show up to the party.
Because can't you still run if you're over there and they're not targeting you? You can still erase attacks like swords.
Yeah, if they're stupid enough to attack you, it's worth it because you got to show up because your partner's just getting raped.
But Sandal did such a good job, man. He's never gotten frustrated, flustered. He's always calm, and I loved playing with him. Great times, great mind on his shoulders. He really wanted to. I think the reason why we ran so much jank, because I like jank when it works, but I usually end up getting more mad than anything because I'm like, yeah, that just not happening. But I think Sandal really wants to explore what Phantom Dust could be if people didn't focus so much on the Call of Duty aspect, as I like to call it, and just try and play around with it. I think that's what Sandal loves most. He loves the chess aspect.
Sandal is great at what he does, and as his partner in the last tournament, he likes to fuck people.
Yeah, he does, and he's good at it too.
That's what he likes to do, but he likes to do it in a very atypical way. He's not just going to sit there and pop your particles. He's going to create the combos and shit that just you can't do anything about.
He's going to make sure you're frozen the entire match while he's popping your particles.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Doesn't
Sandal.
Doesn't he run Heat of Void sometimes?
No, you won't see too much of that out of him. You're going to see a lot of yellows and greens out of Sandal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, shout out to him. He's been phenomenal. I really loved playing with him. He's great at communicating. He really worked around my schedule because my schedule was really up in the air. He's been a great teammate, and I'd love to do it again with him someday. But I think right now I'm gonna test the waters in another pond.
Ooh.
Yep. So
All
future
right,
tournament.
what's the next matchup?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next matchup. That'll take us to this is Doom and Kanye versus Jay and Murder Mastodon. We've got another rematch here from earlier in the tournament. So the first time they lost, Jay and Murder lost rather 3-0 to Doom and Kanye. It wasn't pretty and it wasn't particularly close. This matchup did give Jay and Kanye a win. I forget exactly which map that was on though, but it still went.
Highway.
It still went in Doom
Highway.
and Kanye's favor by the end of it. So yeah, Evolution, why don't you take this one away since you seem to remember it better than I do?
So, looking back, they looked strong coming out the gate. That chaos really screwed over Doom and Kanye. I believe it screwed over Kanye the most. You see a whole lot of any attacks he did have, they were quickly erased. And then once I know he was running a laser arsenal. Once the capsule started going, that was it. Next you have, what was it? Palace. They went Highway, Palace, Sign, right?
Palace was first and then Highway. So Doom and Kanye actually
Okay.
went on Palace first.
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah, I remember because Goatrix made the call. It's over a little prematurely.
Yeah. We'll go to the Highway match for a minute.
You're looking at a team that on paper doesn't really make sense. You have Doom, the aggro king, the pressure king, as people like to call him, and then you have Kanye, who he's respected by some of the newer players, but he's the jokester of the group. He's the class clown, and we love him for it. But when you think of them teaming up, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Kanye, he did a lot of support role, and he did it really well. And it shows in the matches, because having the pressure of Doom on you is one thing. And then when you have Dazzle being shoved up your ass along with it, it's very frustrating. And there's not a lot of players out there that can completely psych a team out before you even hit the start button like Doom can. And
now I didn't see now Evolution. I'm going to ask you because I didn't really see the match. Do you think Murder's strategy in them at this point was to double team Doom or Kanye?
I think anyone who knows a thing about double teaming or so should go after the weaker player typically. But I think a lot of the showcasing you see from Murder and Jay shows them either their plan was to double team Doom, or they simply didn't have enough space away from Doom to double team Kanye. So you really can't tell. I mean, it's hard to tell which one they were going for because Doom never left one of them. You know what I mean?
Because to me, I would view Kanye as the weakest link to there and would obviously save my power for Doom.
And I think that if they ever had a moment to double team Kanye, those matches could have gone a very different way. But the thing is, how do you double team someone when you can't get away from someone and they're constantly putting damage on you? I mean, it's not like, they're spamming you with Bolt of Fire and you're steadily blocking it with Psycho Shell or something minute like that. Like, you just cannot stop getting hit. And I don't know.
I would like to know if Doom knew that or if that's just his play style. He just plays like that. Otherwise, if he knows he has a weaker partner, if he doesn't get up in the face of the opponent.
If you watch from Doom's perspective, he doesn't have teammate lock on. So he's constantly switching back and forth, back and forth. He'll hit the A button to throw an attack, and at the same time, just about he's hitting the left trigger, So if you're playing against that and you're paying attention to your opponent, sometimes it'll throw you off because you're looking and they're facing the direction of your opponent, so you're not thinking that attack's coming from you, and then bam, all of a sudden you're hit because he's constantly switching. I mean,
I can't say that I've ever seen Doom have any status. No plus
What's that?
4, no plus anything.
He
Speed,
runs a little bit of
strength.
status here and there. He
Doom
favors
runs a little bit of
acquisitions
heat.
on it.
Heat and acquisition. You'll see him, but he doesn't run like Armros or Return to Nature. He always puts 2 of them in there and then only uses 1 and saves the other to reverse it back. And
That makes sense.
I like that. I love that. I've actually started doing that. I've actually based a lot of my new playing off of Doom, and I mean, I didn't really get to see Doom in the past unless I was playing him. So to see the man do his work now because he's streaming, it's so beneficial. And
his jump dodge is insane.
Yeah,
And he's chunky too. It's not like he's Freya.
Yeah.
That's a whole different topic to get into, but I hate the female jumpers personally.
I don't think the pause at the end of the jump is worth it, but some people do.
But the
And I
Doom
never really
Kanye
knew
Highway,
jumpers had different properties until Maestro on Panorama.
The Doom Highway, Doom and Kanye Highway match, I almost thought that was the turning point. That was the shove that Jane Murder needed to pull this series. And then it gets to Panorama, and it was the video speaks for itself. It just I don't know what happened, if they fell apart mid match. I don't know what happened, but you see right out the gate, Doom is immediately putting pressure. What was he using? Lightning speed and hyper kick right out the gate, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's such an interesting combo that I've even started using it now because I saw how effective it is. I never really liked hyper kick until I saw what it can do to a cartwheeler.
Dude, lightning speed itself is the truth. I mean, you can maneuver around maps
They were on
very
City,
quickly.
and Jay was running decoy.
Yeah, you don't.
Or
it's
Murder
like-
was running decoy.
in a way, it's better than dash because you're not having to hold up the aura all the time to keep it ready to fire off, and you can't misfire with it like dash off a cliff or into stuff the same way you can with lightning speed.
I've noticed that too. I don't see him run a whole lot of dash, but he does run a lot of lightning speed. And then you get the city, and like you guys said, they're running decoy. I'm almost afraid to use decoy on Doom because it's like now I'm forcing him to come kick the crap out of me.
Right now, he's stuck on you regardless.
So I'm not sure. I think that there was.
I would say paralyze would be a good tactic.
There's not a lot of tactics you can really do to Doom. I mean, if it were me, I would look at his videos as an advantage. I noticed a lot of his arsenals are only running maybe 6 attacks. I'd probably be packing 8 shields, 8 erase shields, knowing who I'm going up against, and just hope for the best.
I mean,
Personally,
Doom is somebody who will punish that, just like Xanxus and Zexus. He's very good at dealing with shields.
Right.
At least my read when I played him in the 4th round of Swiss was like, yes, he can be vulnerable when he starts losing attacks and he kind of burns through arsenals. And so we actually highly valued violent change when playing him.
That's another option too. Sometimes the jank works as long as you don't build an arsenal reliant on specifically jank.
Well, yeah, it wasn't going to be like the kind we ran against you. Yeah, it's not like the violent change deck we ran against you or ran against Silent. It was, running 1 or 2 violent changes in the back of our arsenal as a secondary win condition, more or less.
Yeah, violent change.
Yep, Jay and Murder Man, they did great. They ran into us. They ran into Doom. What else can you say? Kanye, he did a phenomenal job for his first tournament showing. He showed he's a phenomenal support player. Hopefully in the next tournament, I hope he teams up with someone where he can show us what he's got on the lead role.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing with Doom that I feel is that he is so good that you can be a bottom mediocre player and he could carry you. Because the 2 people, even if it's Zexus and Xanus, they know they have to get Doom. And if you're just decent enough to stay alive, do minimal damage, or get in the way, raise some attacks, you're most likely going to get a victory.
Well, we've kind of talked about in the past about how there's kind of a fairly solid top 4 players in a lot of people's opinions. And out of all those top 4 players, and well, any set of players, in my opinion, if we had a tournament where everyone had to have, 1,000 rating player who just learned how to use Aura as their partner, Doom would do the best. So like if it was Silent and a 1,000 rating partner versus Doom and a 1,000 rating partner, and they both just picked up Phantom Dust, Doom would be the one who comes out on top in that tournament. Like I just feel like he is able to. He is
15 jackpot.
He's able to elevate the level of his partner better than any other player, I think. It's maybe not, he's still arguably one of the best players, maybe the best. There's probably stronger arguments for some others right now. But when it comes to that metric, like being able to improve the level and, utilize a partner, I'd say Doom is probably the best at that really easily.
Did Kanye even mention that they communicate? Because Doom doesn't seem like he
does not talk much.
He
no.
goes out there.
Hold on now. I can personally attest for this. They do communicate. Yes.
I mean, they communicate some, but I've played a lot of tag with Doom recently, and I know he doesn't communicate as well as most of the other people I play with.
Exactly, because he doesn't seem like he talks. He seems like he gets his stuff. He goes out there, and that's that.
The games that I lose when I play with Doom is oftentimes when there's a lack of communication.
Yeah.
I do want to say, like, that there's lots of talk about Doom being able to level anybody. Kanye wasn't just showing up, and he wasn't just, like, sitting there. He put in a lot of work. And it's...
Oh, absolutely. Did y'all see that pickup Kanye made on City?
Yeah, I just, like, as much time as we spent talking about Doom, Kanye, and I'll talk about it in the other match, too, he legit put in work. Sometimes he did take the lead. He wasn't just standing behind Doom waiting for him to do stuff. Kanye showed up big in both of their matches that we're going to talk about. So he needs to get his props too. He's not just sitting there.
Kanye proved his mettle in the Bragan and Monkey match on Refinery 100%. He reinforced it on City against Gagnon and Math. Or was that Gagnon and Math match, or was that also you? No, it was against Math and Gagnon.
You mean the semis?
Right. Where he made the really awesome pickup. I can't remember his opponent though. Was it this past match, or was it the previous?
Sleep on West. I mean, I've played against him enough to know that if you try to say, "Oh, he's just a weak person," he will end you.
Yeah, he's very good. He's overlooked by a lot of people because he's such a class clown. That's why I love my brother. I mean, you never know what to expect. Sometimes he's running a annoying gift 3 orbs just to mess with you, and that is true story. And then other times,
or sometimes he puts an opti down when his partner dies.
Let me tell you something about my brother. I've never gotten so mad at someone. This sumbitch will sit in his spawn, put an opti down while I'm being double teamed, and laugh at me the entire time.
And that's
you
why
never know what to get out of him.
We love you, Kanye.
At least some of us do.
Yep. Kanye's
Bragan
cool.
Especially.
He's cool.
Bragan wishes he was Kanye's brother, not me.
Well,
I mean, I think he's getting shit because it's paired with Doom, and everyone's thinking, "Oh, well, you got Doom as a partner," so that's an automatic overshadow for any one of us, even you.
Yeah.
It's hard to live in that mountain.
yeah, I mean, it's always tough to play with somebody like that for that metric.
Was in the next tournament with Doom as our partner, it's going to be easily that everyone's going to say, "Well, Doom's going to carry your ass to the tournament."
I mean, they say the same thing with the last tournament too. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yep.
There's some players that are looked at like they can do no wrong, and then they got a teammate, and their teammate could be. We recently talked about this with Zengsis and Zexus in the last podcast. Everyone talks about Zengsis. Well, that's because he records. You got to take note too of Zexus back there, and it's the same with Doom and whoever he plays with. It's the same with anyone. Sometimes you got to stop looking at the lead role and start seeing what the teammate's doing to support that.
Exactly.
Killer alert. I'm dealing with Doom next tournament, and then we're going to take this shit top to bottom.
I can make my one guaranteed prediction for the next tournament, and that prediction is that Doom would never play with Afin. I'll make that bold prediction right now.
Way to bury the lead, Frank.
I'll make that bold prediction right now. We'll go ahead and we're going to have some more to talk about Doom and Kanye as they have another matchup as they did win their versus Jay and Murder. So we'll come back to them again here in a minute. And we'll move on to the next match, which actually was myself and Monkey versus Daffy and another of ours here, Filthy.
Filthy,
I like that.
He had to go.
Filthy left. I didn't even see that he'd gone.
Yeah, he said he had to go. I'll give you this. At least you didn't meme him again.
That's true. I mean, they also still won Highway, and they beat the piss out of us on Highway.
That's the reverse meme for you. That is arguably your worst map, whereas Palace is your best.
And they're right next to each other, too.
Didn't you lose to Filthy and Daffy the last time you played Highway?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what's even better? We chose to start on Highway.
Oh, you did that to yourself.
Regan, how do you use rock shot like that? I don't understand it.
Reagan dug his own grave and buried himself in it, too.
How do I what with rock shot?
How do you just use it? 'Cause I always look at rock shot like the worst.
Yeah, rock shot don't work for me either. I think you have to be a chosen one for it to work for you.
Because when I throw it, it has no accuracy, even with accuracy.
You just got to know how to use it. Maybe I'll put out a video one day.
Is it because of no?
I don't think no has any special properties with rock shot.
Reagan's rock shot. I
think if Bragan's the chosen one for rock shot, I'm the chosen one for disintegrate.
Oh God! Don't even talk about that.
Well, we can talk about what skill belongs to who, but we're talking about matchups for the minute. So I'll stop talking about my own matchup, and I'll let you guys take it away. That's the cue for somebody else to go for it. Afin, did you catch this series?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Filthy and Daffy just as a team. Period. I like watching them play. I like watching Daffy get better. Around in this one too. I didn't expect them to win it, but I was just having fun rooting for them the whole time. But yeah, this was like the way you and Monkey were playing. It was kind of a gimme, but they put up a big, really tough fight. Highway match was a lot of fun. It was a Palace match with Bregan, so what are you gonna do? And yeah, no, it was a good contest.
Hello, everyone,
and again, that team was one of my favorite teams in the whole tournament anyway. So good times there.
Yeah, sorry, audio issue there just popped up. Yeah, I think that Daffy and Filthy were actually a really fun team in the tournament. I think they started off a little shaky, but I was really impressed with their play moving forward. I feel like they definitely got a lot better throughout the tournament.
I was originally going to be Filthy's partner, but I didn't practice enough for him. Daffy puts in work, so those two, because of that, got they leveled.
Yeah,
I tried, but whatever. It is what it is.
Goat, what do you think about practice?
Man, what's that? We talk about practice.
He PM'd me and said, "Hey, Afin, sorry to do this, but I'm dropping you because you don't play enough."
I mean, it's a fair point.
Was he making coordinated decks? Is that why?
Talk to him. So I didn't get a chance to do anything.
Filthy is one of my favorite players. If you guys have ever played with him, he's hilarious.
He really is.
And Daffy, man, he's a late night player. It kind of worked well with Filthy because you usually see them both on. And I think they were still working out the kinks in the Swiss. And you really saw them start to mesh and blend together a little better towards the end. And it's unfortunate that they didn't make it through. But I think if they stuck it out and gave it another go next tournament, they'd probably make it a little further.
Well, as long as they keep
but next tournament we'll be switching up teams, won't we?
Next tournament, we might do like a special tournament where you might get mixed partners. We've been talking about something like that. But the next official tag tournament,
we gonna do the trial run?
The next official tag tournament is going to be same rules.
Okay.
So, but you can pick your partner. So
I'd like to see them keep it up.
I would actually have to pick Goat this time.
Yeah, I think Filthy and Daffy played well in that series. It was definitely a pleasure to play against them both times, honestly.
Honestly, I think Filthy and Daffy, if they get it depends on who they're matched up with for their first few matches. I think they'll go deep depending on that.
I mean, I feel like making quarters was already pretty dang deep and impressive. I don't know if I would really bet against them making it out of quarters, considering the 4 teams we had make it to the semifinals. I don't know if I could put money on them beating any of those 4 teams, but they made a deep run in this tournament already.
Yeah,
having a rough start too.
if they stay together, well, if they stay together and keep playing like during the downtime between tournaments too, and just keep like working together, they can probably show up a lot stronger for the next tag tournament. It's just they have to keep playing now the tournament's over for them.
I think they do have a lot of room to improve skill wise, and I think they could be a bigger threat as a team. I just don't know if I would say that they would place too much higher than what they placed in this tournament. But I do think they could be a much more scary team with more practice and time. I feel like they have not hit a ceiling.
Yeah, agreed.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about that matchup?
Yeah, Bregan, you still suck.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be mentioned.
At least on highway. At least on fucking highway, you do.
It's good to be mentioned. I love these podcasts. All right,
Actually,
I guess
if I'm not mistaken, we beat you on Highway too, didn't we, Bregan?
yes, you did.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure I'm like
Highway.
undefeated. I'm pretty sure I'm. I don't think I've won a match on highway professionally, or not professionally, but like in any of the tournaments, 1v1 tag, whatever. I don't think I've won a single match at highway.
Yeah, you should probably stop. You should probably avoid Highway.
Well, the funny thing is, so I did say that we picked highway, right? We practiced a lot of highway leading up to that match, and we were doing really well. And so we were really confident. And we're like, hey, we'll start on highway because we felt like we had a good combo there, and that either direction we went from there, that we were confident in going as well, whether it was reverse through Palace or forwards through Pano. And so we thought highway was a good starting spot. And then we get on there, and it was just like, nah, bro, you don't get good spawns. They're just going to sit here and pot shot you, and you don't have an angle to shoot. And just, yeah.
Stay the hell away from highway.
I hate highway. I hate that
I remember
map.
getting rock shot and hit on fucking lane.
The funny thing is like I actually almost have better luck running just rock shot on highway than I do than running lasers.
You have better luck just running rock shot. You should have 3 rock shots in your arsenal.
I mean, that's what I ran against them on highway last time, funnily enough, was
And
a
they
3
got
rock shot
screwed
deck.
for that. They got boned.
That did happen, actually.
Yeah, you got bodied pretty hard on that map when you played them last time on highway doing that. You brought out the meme arsenal 2 times in a row.
Yes, I did. And I paid for it. Actually, I mean, I brought it out in the first game and then in the third game. I didn't play it on Panorama.
Yeah, you try to switch it up.
Can't meme twice.
I mean, as much as I like Rockshot, I don't like it on Panorama. Anybody who uses Rockshot on Panorama, don't bother.
You like it more or less? You like that or Violent Chain?
I mean, I'm all about the Rockshot, just not on Panorama.
Which with
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I just said with good reason.
Yeah, it's not good on Panorama. Okay, I guess we'll move on from that series. Move on to our...
It's certainly better on Panorama than Ricochet Laser is better on Sign.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Ricochet Laser is good.
True, I
everywhere.
almost won that one though.
Okay, we'll move on to... We have... Our first semifinal matchup now is Doom and Kanye versus Guinan and Math. Begins on Highway. This is a pretty brutal series considering the 2 teams that came in. Who wants to take the lead on this one?
I can.
I
was gonna say I don't think Guinan was very happy about their about losing to Doom and Kanye in the pools, and so they definitely made sure that they weren't going to have a repeat. Yeah.
And I mean, they did it
didn't
very
see that
solidly.
match for the sake of just not wanting to witness it.
So what happened on Sign? Did Doom jump off to get back to his spawn and then fell off?
He jumped off, got hit by a twist laser. He was trying to get a better angle to hit with his railgun while Guinan was hiding. So, which again, like he was then right, like as soon as you see him jump off, you're like, oh wow, he's gonna lose that trade because twist laser has a nasty angle on him, and he knew the Guinan had a twist laser. So it was kind of a bad call, but it was a desperation call. And so he takes 6 damage from the fall off in the laser, and then he's down at like 2 or 1 health after that. And from there, it was just still bad for him because I guess he was walking along trying to get back to Kanye, and he fell through a hole. From my understanding, that's what happened. He just fell through a hole after.
Well, I mean,
that was what ended the game.
It's a great idea, but I don't think he expected that laser to hit him before he fell.
Yeah, I mean, he may not have expected the twist laser, but he didn't fall from the twist laser. He got hit, and then he was running, and 4 seconds later, you see him die. So he was running somewhere, and he fell through a hole because the map was falling apart.
Yeah, by that point,
Yeah,
Sign
because
was.
I'm watching it now.
I'm guessing his camera angle was locked on Gagnon up top.
Now, I'm going to skip to that part of the video.
I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yes.
The best
I-
part, though, was
up
when
and
he
just-
tried to put up the fortress, try to fake out Doom, and he nailed him with railgun.
Great.
Good times, faking out Gagnon.
Yeah.
But
I know
I think Math pulled out an MVP move on Sign when he killed Reborn and picked him up real quick.
I feel like, again, we've talked about Math, and he's just continued to impress me more and more each set. I feel like Guinan sets him up well and is a good compliment, but Math has been playing the front line for that team, and he's been doing very well. He's been doing...
His pickups have been ridiculous. Like, every match, he just... Pickups that he's not supposed to make. He gets in there anyway, and we're just like, how the fuck did he do that? Every single time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Math,
Absolutely impressed
because
with
me,
Math.
I wouldn't have been thinking kill him and pick him up so he comes back with health. I'd have just played it out and probably would have cost the match.
I mean, I guess it's not to totally underwrite Guinan either. He's, arguably probably the best player right now. But Math has been playing the lead, and Guinan has played a different role, which I guess also speaks to his variability, which is good. You see him, he's been playing a female jumper some of the time, back and forth between a cartwheeler. He used to play the front line for his last team with Guinan and Murder, and now he's shown the variability of playing the secondary role behind Math. Like, you got to give some props there. They are a very complete team, those two.
The deck
I know
synergy, too. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. I know this much. If you beat Guinan and you have to play him again, you better be very well prepared because he does not take losses lightly, and he will come back a lot harder and a lot more. And I think that's what happened.
The match was dirty. The highway match, the 9-speed re-ins, oh god, that was a nightmare factory right there. That shit was terrifying.
Reincarnation hits Kanye.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of things that were just really brutal in that series. The Palace game was really close, back and forth. We see Guy didn't take a lot of damage, but we just see Math, playing like a superstar, making some of those pickups. But again, like they have found a way that works together. Because I remember when they first started playing, it was a little messy at first, but like they clicked very fast, those two, and they found a style that works together. And Guinan quickly figured out that he couldn't play double front and double aggro, and he played a different kind of style, and it worked very well with Math.
And
I
there
gotta
goes
say,
Kanye.
I got-
and let me in. And this is why he gets the name he gets.
Never mind. I have no comment.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Does
say,
anybody?
if you guys remember that episode of Always Sunny with Charlie in the break room, the conspiracy theory? That's me in the end of the sign match, because I don't believe Doom just walked off. That shit was a fix. I can't. It just didn't make sense to me.
that-
I
I
don't
mean,
like
I've,
it.
Kinda make it
I've
seem
walked
like he
off
was
enough times on
point
sign to
shaped.
know how that goes. I've done that enough times.
This was in, man.
When
I
I
don't
seen it,
believe
I'm like, is he point shaving?
Paul Crew, point shaven, mean machine.
Doom sitting at home
Yeah.
counting his fat stack of money, laughing, walked off.
Guinan
I mean,
said,
there's a time when I'm like, wait, he walks off the mat and gets hit with the laser.
somebody somewhere's got a screenshot of a message from Guinan to Doom, and it just says, check your bank account.
Here's his friend's $10 bill for throwing the match.
$10.
And poor Kanye.
That's what a
If
Phantom
only
Dust
Kanye
match
could've
is
seen
worth.
the pickup.
Ain't worth more than that.
I don't know how much Doom would have done because all he had was railgun.
Yeah, like I said, it was a desperation play, and I feel like it was a bad play in the first place just because Twist Laser had the better
you ever
angle,
played-
but, it's what happened.
Have you ever played against Doom when all he has in his hand is a railgun? It's not fun.
Oh, that's true. If Doom has a railgun, the
I've
game
never
is
seen
never
Doom
over.
with a railgun.
Doom with a railgun is a scary sight. It is never over as long as he has a
Last time I
railgun.
seen Doom, I smacked him with Son of Saints and killed him on the steps highway. Then we lost.
Silent sharing his I am very badass story.
I just wanted to point out of all the years of Phantom Dust, I finally got to kill him once.
Doom,
I mean, he was picked back up, but
Silence,
he died.
Silent's best Phantom Dust story is that one time he killed Doom. Oh boy! I mean, that just speaks to the caliber of player he is too. And you gotta recognize the players that he's up against because I mean, Doom, this same Doom that we're talking about, this like pillar status, like he just lost 3-0 right here. So you can try and make some excuses and things like that, but like it was a straight up 3-0 loss. Like it was a brutal series. There's no denying that.
He took a long walk off a short cliff.
Yeah.
The new pocket full of Phantom Dust.
I mean, but Reborn fell a couple times too. Yeah.
I mean, it's sign. Everybody falls a little bit. Map's horrible. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about that match? Or are we just gonna, finish off with conspiracy theories? We good?
I actually
Conspiracy
just
theories.
think that it was probably a good fact that it ended on sign because what better map to end it on?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me excited to see those two go at it again, hopefully in a later tournament. Always.
I hope they're paired up next turn.
I'm hoping that we can get Doom in the 1v1 tournament, and maybe we could see those two players just go directly 1v1, or we could see like Xanxus versus Doom in a 1v1 would be super exciting. But speaking of Xanxus, I guess we ought to move on to the next round of Xanxus and Zexus so we can talk about how great they are for another few minutes. So that's their semifinal match. Who wants to take the lead on this one?
Ooh, I do.
Go for it, Evolution.
Hold on, let me.
Keep it PG.
So there seemed to be a lot of like one-sidedness in this. I'm not going to bring it up too much, but I feel like somebody was choking a little bit, if you know what I mean.
You promised.
No,
you promised.
He meant you, Reagan.
Damn it. Okay. So aside from Palace, you guys straight up whooped on Xanxus and Zexus. I mean, I wanted to bring that up first, even though it was one of the later matches. It was notably your guys' best showing, I think, this entire tournament. But as far as the other matches, though, just nothing seems to be going right for you and Monkey, man. And Highway, I mean, you were taking heavy hits on the stairwell. If you went up, you got hit by a vibration laser. If you went down, you were getting, tagged from a distance. And I mean, there's not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah, we just really didn't have any. We're at a real spawn disadvantage there.
That spawn in particular, that bottom one, you seem to get that quite often in your tournament losses. And I mean, it just seems like for Highway for you, everyone just seems to rush right out the gate. And it doesn't seem like they're... I don't know if they're specifically targeting you every time, because I know I specifically targeted you at first, and it worked in our favor. And I'm wondering if Xanxus and Zexus right out the gate said they were going for you, because it did not go well for you. And then, Palace happened. That was a showing. Panorama. What happened? You guys went for the hang and just a little premature. No orb, no amulet, right off the rip.
On Panorama.
Yeah, because I feel like Monkey wasted through his entire arsenal just to get to that amulet or orb.
Yeah, so I guess it's worth giving some background. I know a lot of people already know what happened, but I'll just give the full story on Panorama. And I'm going to try and say this without bias or accusations as well. So what happened, there was a long set of lag tests on Saturday. and we ended up having a lot of dropping issues, but we finally thought we had it straightened out, and so we started the series on Panorama, and we played our environmental, and then Zexus immediately dropped from the match. And so that was basically when we called it a night, because we'd done an hour and a half of lag tests, and instead of doing a redraw and like asking for a new start and direction and just starting fresh, we tried to do like a gentleman's agreement, like, okay, everybody use the exact same arsenal that you had whenever we started there, but we'd shown our environmental, right? And I don't mean to sit here with the tinfoil hat, but they do show up and they have a full set of perfect counters for the environmental we ran. It's possible. It's definitely possible that was what they'd planned, that they had that read on us, because it was something we had played a couple of rounds previous. So maybe that's what it was. But it felt pretty bad, and then things just came out wrong besides that for us, too. When we wanted to hang it, so we put the first one down. Xanxus had an immediate judgment in hand right from the beginning. So the first one got popped. His opening hand got rid of it. And then Monkey was trying to dig to find one of his 2 orbs that he had in that deck. He didn't find either one until he had 5 capsules left. During that time, our friendships had been Armoros. I was fighting 2v1 for about 3 minutes with a 1 damage Psycho Knife. Then the video picks up once I finally had some breathing room and I was able to hit record, because I'd forgot to hit record at the beginning. And so you pick up on us at Monkey with only 4 capsules remaining, and then they got an Ice Sword down, and his last Reduce Entropy was then also judgmented.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like, it was just like a real... I wouldn't call it a comedy of errors, but it was a lot. It was a real combination of
I know that they have
things.
Turned their game plan to Turbulence, Crush, Judgment. I can attest to you personally that that's been their go-to, because they're expecting to get hung on. Dual cartwheelers makes sense. So I personally don't think that they would, break that gentleman's agreement. But I accidentally hit the mute button. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Did you guys hear everything I was saying?
Yes, we heard what you were saying before.
Okay. So I don't personally think that they would do that. However, I will say, it looks a little rough. So, I can't say other than my personal biased opinion. But
yeah, I just try to give the situation, like, I don't want to turn it into an accusation. Like, it felt dirty, but it is also possible. And I don't mean like it felt dirty, like, oh, I think that's what happened. I meant like it felt bad, like having it happen. Like it felt bad because it wasn't just a judgment. It was like the Tiger Strength reincarnation. Like every possible counter to a Reduce Entropy was there.
Right.
And so it felt bad, It's one of those things like, and it played out poorly too. Like we just also didn't get what we needed at the right times. So there was just a lot of factors there that made it feel pretty rough.
Well, you guys did a hell of a showing. Palace, man, that, like I said earlier, that was impressive. I was highly impressed by that. Sign. The Disintegrate, I loved it when I saw it, out of my own book. I love Disintegrate, and especially on Xanxus and Zexus. Me and Esper tried to pull it off, and it worked wonders. You guys hit him with it, and miraculously, a boost mine and I believe a level lamp was in his arsenal, and he was able to use them. That was impressive on their end.
It was a 1 aura difference. If he had 1 aura less, he wouldn't have been able to boost mine and level lamp, and he would have been out of the game. But yeah, 1 aura difference brought him back into the game. Just one.
It's okay, break it. Next time.
Just one. Well, that's what I said last tournament too. just 1
I
aura.
will say, dude, just to take off my tinfoil hat. Like if I had heard of the situation and had never seen Zanx and Zexus play before, I might be a little iffy. But just knowing how well those guys prepare in general, like I have no doubts that they just had that shit in their deck ready to go anyway.
Again, I didn't want to turn it into an accusation.
No,
it was just. Yeah, it was just a rough situation that I don't think they were super happy with it either.
Yeah, no, it is what it is, and it's just that they know and everyone else knows that we all believe that they're above board and everything like that too, just so it's said clearly.
Because I mean, to put it from the reverse perspective, like from their perspective, like if that was what they had played the first time, they had to have known as well. Like we're gonna look really bad.
But they're probably laughing the whole time too.
Yeah, like they had to know, like, oh, this is gonna look really bad.
You have to take into perspective the map as well. I mean, it's panorama. You guys are, just like me and Sandal, notorious for hanging on panorama. You guys have also showed the hand before. But I'm not even talking that Saturday. I'm talking previously. Reduced entropy. You like reduced entropy on panorama. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors. You absolutely have to give them the benefit of the doubt. You have no other choice.
But Evo, there's three decks running that map anyway. So, like,
I miss the days of zero cost on panorama.
Don't you? When things were just simpler times, Pepperidge Farm remembers those times.
Yeah, it was just so much easier when it was
three
just vicious
agonies of
balance
death,
that you had to worry about.
But no, Xenxus and Zexus, like I said, I hate talking about the click because it's such a dirty word, but there is a secondary click, and I mean I coordinate a lot with Xenxus and Zexus. They help me prepare, I help them prepare, so on and so forth. And I know they run a lot of anti-hang because they're dual cartwheelers. They have to. They have no choice. That's the new meta, hang, you know? So you can't get mad at them. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I do see it from your perspective too, Bregan. It sucks. That hurts. That really hurts that really gets the tempo going really bad too when it happens just like that on Panorama.
Yeah, there was just like a lot of things that went wrong that made it really difficult and a little frustrating. Like, yeah, we just wish we could have had a better showing.
Joe, like, come into Palace in the lobby going, all right, let's turn this shit around. It's time for, no more messing around, that kind of thing? Or
when we got to Palace, I was just like, we've had, because we just came off of 2 really bad breaks. 'Cause the numbers were just absolutely against us on Highway and Panorama. Like, the way that the art, like, even if you ignore the fact that they had all the counters, like, it's a hard arsenal to counter in the first place. Like, even with all the right counters, it's hard to do. We still got the hang off, we still had the orb on, and they had one chance with the ice sword to get rid of it, and they managed to get that too. Like, there was a lot of things that worked against us just because the arsenals came out so poorly, and then the spawn disadvantage and just the tempo disadvantage on Highway. Like, we came in just being boned like that, and so it was like, all right, we're probably not going to win this series, but we're not going down without a fight. Like, let's just bring it as hard as we can. And that was what we said in the lobby, and we did, and it felt great.
Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to highlight specifically, because I said this in the thread in the group. In the Palace match were enough to make any other person rage quit, because it's just, watching it was infuriating, like, to be on the other side of those onslaughts, and the fact that you both like rebounded and came back in your own ways was, and I would have been pissed off the entire time. After the Palace match too, that momentum shift, but they fought back because they're pros. It just it was,
the momentum shift stuck too. It's stuck on sign. It's just that one aura.
One aura. One aura. I'm gonna be like for the next month, going to bed just muttering one fucking aura.
I do want to make specific mention too, because I'm watching the Highway match right now. Bregan jumped this one vibration blaster on the stairs on the side. It was just beautiful, just because it happened to show up. But yeah, no, super good series, super solid. Everyone's super pro. Good time.
When does Guy even get here?
Hey, we weren't gonna do that. It's okay.
Evo, you promised.
Hey, I had plenty to say while my mic was just muted.
It's okay. This is why Evolution's not a moderator anymore. Oh. All right. Well, I guess we can finish with that semifinal matchup, though, and, unless anybody else had anything else they really wanted to add there.
No.
Well, okay. I feel like this is kind of pandering, but I feel like one player that hasn't been mentioned either in the quarterfinals or in the semifinals that I feel like you guys really need to at least give some reaction to is Monkey himself.
Right, your partner. Yeah, no, he's great.
Who?
Oh,
I
good.
always respected Monkey. I held him to higher standards than you, Wigan.
We don't hassle Monkey because he's just not fun to hassle. It's hard to pick on someone who doesn't do much wrong.
I'm not asking to pick on him. I'm asking like he was okay. So in the quarterfinals, I'll just if I got to do it, I'll do it. In the quarterfinals, I felt like Monkey really carried that series. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I played pretty dang poorly versus Filthy and Daffy in that series, and I also got super tilted by some other dumb stuff going on. Like on Sign, I just spawned with like double violent change in my base, and I'm just like, oh great, this is how I wanted to play this series. And
that's always how it goes too. That's always how it goes.
Yeah.
No, Filthy has definitely taken the lead role for your team. We merely mention you more because you are who you are. You're the head of the podcast. You're involved in everything.
Mouthpiece.
But don't disregard that as not giving credit to Monkey. Monkey has been pulling your weight in every match. Where you mess up, he's been covering. The match against Doom and Kanye on Palace. Wow, what a draw. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we both gave as good as we got in that series. He played absolutely phenomenally there, and I've been very happy with him as a partner. And, even though things, numbers especially went really south against us versus Xanxus and Zexus. And, it's not to say that I think we're necessarily the better team overall, but I feel like there's no team in the top 4 that we couldn't have taken a series off of. And I feel like Monkey was a huge factor in that. He was absolutely phenomenal in a lot of these series. He really saved my bacon in a lot of bad situations.
We were gonna. I believe we're coming up to the next
MVP of your team.
I was just about to say, aren't we coming up to another MVP? I was gonna give it to Monkey. I mean,
yeah, we were coming to that was actually our next topic, is we're going to talk about playoffs MVP. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and start with that?
Monkey's my MVP for the tournament. He's been killing it, even when you were getting tilted and flustered. He picked up the slack. He's shown his worth in a couple matches that I noticed. Doom and Kanye, for example. Another one was, Xanxus and Zexus, down to 4 caps. He stayed alive, getting his capsules popped. I mean, he did his thing. And then when he died, a typical rookie team will say, pick me up, I'm over here, even though they're losing life. Even he said it. You're on your own, dude. Don't worry about me. On Panorama. And I heard that and I took note to it because I kept thinking to myself, that's the smart move. Don't overwrite one of your shields or attacks. Just, he may be the less heard voice of the team, but he's definitely got the stronger back, in my opinion. He's done a lot and he gets my MVP.
Yeah, I think
I agree.
Absolutely
because
fantastic.
Even in our match, you came out saying like, well, they're probably going to run this, and so is going to run the environmental. Then I dropped the environmental that surprises the fuck out of him, basically, because he was going solely based on what you were saying.
It was still a lunar force.
Yeah, but coming from me, which optics don't come from me, so you would think that would have threw him off, but he still stuck the guns with it. I mean, he molded himself for each one of your matches.
Yeah. No, I not to take away from him at all. No, he played absolutely fantastic, I believe, throughout those games.
And you still had rock shot for most of your matches. So
I feel like I actually had a better showing in the first tournament than I did in this tournament, and the Monkey was definitely probably. I feel like he was probably the stronger member of our team throughout this tournament.
I mean, I can't speak for your other opponents, but when me and Sandal played you guys, he had one role on Refinery. That was change the world, get us down to 3. He did so, did his job, did it well, didn't take any damage from us, and he died. You know what I mean? But that was his job that match. Panorama, that was listening back to how you guys were communicating. That was just a cluster. I don't think you guys were expecting us to come out the gate fighting that fast and that hard. Highway, you couldn't do anything. You were screwed all long range, and I stuck to you like glue. Him, however, he was putting up a fight against Sandal, doing the best he could, and then Palace, y'all took the win from us, and I think that was a strong showing on him as well. I was running the little kite monster dude with melee. He saw right through it right away. Kept a medium to long range distance from me. I couldn't catch up to him. I mean, he just played, and he played very well.
Yeah. Any comments on that, Afin or Silent, or you guys want to give me your MVPs?
No further comments. My MVP is
my
Math.
MVP is still the same with.
All right.
I'm
Well,
with
let's talk
Monkey on
about
that.
your MVP of math first, then, before we move on to silence.
For just all those pickups, just consistently amazed
Ma-
that, yeah, Math.
Yeah, it was very good play
It's
there.
unbelievable. Stuff that I didn't think should have been able to happen, and he pulled it off consistently every game. So Math for me.
Yeah, like one of my questions
Math
coming in
is
is that he's often suffered in the high pressure matches and wasn't very good in the clutch, but in this series he was, or not series, but in this tournament he has been. He has either, been misrepresented or has been able to fix that problem because he was very impressive in the clutch moments of this tournament so far.
See, I don't think anything's changed with Math. I think he's playing the same as he was before. It's just, not knocking, Will Ryder, but they have very different play styles. Whereas Gagnon is able to mold his play style to. He's probably arguably the best technical player on the game. So he's very good at changing things
Geigen
up
is better
as
than
they go.
Geigen is way better than Will.
I'm not disregarding that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you have two very different play styles.
I would also say that's not the only time we've seen him. We've seen him in two 1v1 tournaments, and he lost in the semifinals of both of them, once to Monkey, and that was a 3-0, and he also lost to me. And, I got to say, from my own personal viewpoint, this is not the same Math that I played in the semifinals of that tournament. That was not my hardest match of that tournament by far, and his play in this tag team tournament has been far superior to what I saw in that 1v1 tournament, for example.
The only reason I can't judge that right is because I think about the matches I've seen him play with Geigen. If Will was his partner, he wouldn't even been that far.
I agree. Like I said, it's very different play styles.
His play style hasn't changed, but he's playing with an elevated partner, so he can still play.
I'm not talking about Math's play style. I'm talking about Gagnon and Will. Very different play styles. Will is very he likes to build combos, whereas Gagnon, his combos are he has them. They're just a bit quicker, a bit less A through Z.
Right.
And that complements Math well, because if you notice, Math is a bit of a aggressive rusher. But I don't think nothing's really changed with Math. I just think that he finally has a partner that's allowing him to show his true potential and skill.
That makes him makes him a better, more dangerous opponent. Because when he's with Will, it's like whatever. But when he's with Reborn, it's like, okay, you're probably going to get bodied.
Yeah, I think it was really great performance from Math during that. And was that also your MVP then, Silent? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I was saying, was Math also your MVP?
For that, yeah.
Okay. So I guess that ends our MVP discussion then. So I guess another quick topic before we get to the actual finals then. So which matchup did we not get to see this tournament that you still really want to see? Who wants to go first?
I'll take this one. I really wanted to see Gagnon and Math versus you and Monkey.
Yeah. I did want to see that too. I agree with that.
That is one of the top 4 team matchups that we didn't get to see. Because we're going to get to see, I think, 2 versions of almost every other iteration of the matchups that we saw. We saw 2 Xanxus and Zexus versus Guinan. We've seen 2 Guinan versus Doom. I'm going to be playing Doom twice. I guess I only played Xanxus once.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that matchup. Also, I really wanted to see Ebony and Savage versus Afin and Orange Baby.
I mean, I think everybody just wants to see more Orange Baby just for the environmentals.
Pretty much.
I mean, I called that in the very first podcast.
Schedule to get a match.
If I look back, I do believe I did call that you will see at least 3 environmentals out of Orange Baby every match.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly. It's
Yeah, absolutely fun to watch. What about you, Silent? Who did we not get to see that you wish you could see?
this is going to sound like I'm returning the favor, but I had it in mind already. I wanted to see just more Sandal and Evo versus anybody, really, because, like I said, I'm a fan of the jank. So, yeah, any more of that would have been great for me.
And what about you, Silent?
Say it again. You cut out.
I said, what about you, Silent? What was the matchup that you wish you could have seen that you didn't get to see?
I'm gonna agree with. I'm gonna go with Evolution's pick.
Guinan versus me?
Yeah.
All right, I guess now I'm interested. If that
Because it seemed
matchup
like
had
I
happened.
never ever hear about that.
All right, let's play it one further then. Since you both picked the same one, who do you guys predict it would have come out on top in that match?
I'm gonna have to take Bragan and Monkey to win it.
Silent?
I would say you and Monkey just based on Monkey's improved play, because I kind of think you and Geigen can probably sort of equal each other out, but I think Monkey elevates over Math, or at least he did this tournament.
But you just chose Math as your playoffs MVP over Monkey. Now you got me confused. Now I'm confused. I think it would have been.
No,
I
I
think.
said Monkey was the MVP.
Oh, you said Monkey was your MVP. Okay,
Yeah, because he's the only one that improved.
I see. Yeah, I think that it would have been
I
a very
think
close
Math was
one.
same, partner was just different.
We scrimmed them a couple times, but we never built for them. So it would have been interesting to see how the matchup would have played if we'd actually built for them. But when we scrimmed them, they were usually ahead. I think we only scrimmed them once, actually. Yeah, we only scrimmed them one time. But the time we scrimmed them, it was like 60-40, maybe 70-30 in their favor.
See, it's kind of hard to judge on when y'all switch partners. See, me and Goat were the same for the past two tournaments, so we either got better or didn't. But if we split up and get paired with Reborn or Doom or you and Monkey or Evolution, how are you going to judge us based on having better partners per se? And that's what I felt happened with Mr. Math.
Yeah.
How they hold up their end of the bargain too. Again, like it's the Kanye thing again. We want to give Doom credit, but Kanye's in there putting in work every single match too. And you can tell that without just looking at the win-loss. You can see how, like, if Doom is down, does Kanye pick him up? Is he supporting Doom, like, actually, or is he taking the lead? There's ways to look at this stuff if you actually, well, checking the videos out anyway.
I guess
why I
that's.
said
We'll
Math.
see, what the Kanye thing is different though, because Kanye actually plays weirdly, but Math, if you look at his game and you look at last tournament's game, it was identical. The
Yeah,
only
that's why I was
difference
saying
was
I don't think Math improved. I think that he's just, you're finally able to see the real skill behind him. I think it has nothing to do with improving. It's just, it's hard to explain. But I think what everyone's trying to get at is Math never really went up or down. He just finally has a teammate that's allowing him to showcase his skills.
right.
Good
So
with
he's
that.
always been this good.
The-
He's always been that.
I guess the
Because
last
me-
minute I would. Sorry, go ahead, Silent.
Well, because just like me, I didn't change my play style from the last tournament with Goat. I was exactly the same. So had I been paired up with Doom or Reborn, I would probably be in a different status right now. Because of their play and me just staying the same, getting hits when I get them, would that mean that I improved or I just had a better partner to allow me to get there?
It's true. I guess the last
And
one
that's what I
I'd
felt that
touch.
Matt, he stayed exactly the same, played the same game, didn't change it up, just had a better partner to help complement and just over above give another target to.
Yeah, Math has always been a beast. There's no doubt about it. That's why I gave Monkey the MVP, man, because, Monkey, showcased the improvement that he's made, based from when Silver.
Plus, Monkey's quiet. He doesn't.
Yeah, but Monkey took lead. Math took lead as far as aggression, but there was still the mastermind Gagnon behind it all. You know what I mean? With Bragan and Monkey, at least this tournament, in my opinion, Monkey was the star player of that team.
Yeah, I'd have to at least loosely agree, because you talk about kind of the 4 top players that you had previously, and they all came in with different partners, but almost all of them played second fiddle, except for I would say Monkey was at least equal, if not maybe the better player of the team.
Right.
And so I guess that would be the thing that would make the difference for me as well, is Monkey shined just as brightly as his partner, whereas I feel like obviously Kanye and for example Math are still kind of secondary to Doom and Guinan.
Right, they're not trying to outshine their teammate. They're trying to keep up, is what I'm getting at. And now, don't let me take that away from Math. Like I said earlier, Math has always been a beast. He's always been a great player.
I'm not saying that Math is a bad player. He's just stayed the same. He's good, and he didn't change anything up.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see if he, at least in the finals or in the next tournament, shows some more growth, because I think he could really break into that same tier of player if he continues to do so.
Yeah, I agree. I believe he'll be that player where you look at him like you do Doom and Zexus, and then where you're like, fuck, we need to kill this guy first.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess let's get to our finals prediction then. We've been kind of leading up to this one, and then we just have a few little things we'll touch on afterwards. But we've been hemorrhaging some of our people again. That seems to be a theme of our late night podcast. We just slowly lose some of our members as we go throughout the night. But why don't you start us off, Afin, since I haven't heard you talking a little bit. Talk about the finals and who you're predicting to win it.
Yeah, for me, I kind of got to give it to Xenxus and Zexus. It's a coin toss, if I'm totally honest. Just their play style, again, the fact that they might be in the same room playing at the same time zone, because that's a factor as well. The match with you and Monkey, they've got momentum on their side, and that this is their tournament to win.
I mean, it's very possible. I'll share my opinion in a minute, but let's go to Silent. What's your prediction for finals?
I'm going with Zexus, only Zexus because it seems like Jesus smiles upon them every time they play the game.
Like how they're just Zexus.
I've never seen them ever really get screwed or screwed at the beginning of a match. And like everything falls into play. Moves that should hit them just miss, and they just wreck you, and it's just like, oh, they got the thumbs of Jesus or something.
Yeah, when I look at the other kind of triumvirate of the other top 3 players right now, the Xenxus, the Doom, the Guinan, I've used this comparison before with other people, and I want to say it with the caveat, preamble, that it is not to take away from any of the players in other aspects or say that they aren't absolutely excellent players, but I've always felt that Guinan is the smart one, Doom is the strong one, and Xenxus is somehow the lucky one. Like, see, he rolled up in Fallout 4 with 10 points in luck, and things just break his way. And a lot of that obviously is going to come down to preparation and having good game sense. But he really does. Providence does smile upon him. He really does, and he is an excellent player, and he's therefore able to utilize that. You take somebody else, towards the bottom of the tournament, and you gave them the same Providence smiling that Xenxus has, and that's nice, but they still can't take advantage of it because they don't have the same skill level that Xenxus does. But darn if it isn't rough when you play against Xenxus and things just don't ever work out for you numbers wise. It's rough. I can tell you from personal experience.
I mean, I play against them a lot lately. I've started playing more, and it's just like, how do you always get all these moves when you need them?
Mm-hmm.
They're my favorite. They're my favorite team by far. And I might be a little biased in this, but they're the nicest. I mean, you can't meet a nicer guy than Xanxus. Zexus, love you, bro. You're kind of a dick, but it's cool.
He's the counterbalance. They're the yin and yang. You got to have the counterbalance.
You call them lucky,
Definitely.
but I mean, I can't call it luck. They get reads on people. I mean, phenomenally.
I acknowledge, a lot of it's preparation and read and things like that.
And it's hard to think of them as good arsenal preppers because then they bring laser and stone shot against you, and you're thinking to yourself like, how is that good prep? But it is. I mean, they're ready for shit.
Somehow they'll have it whenever you don't have flash hole and all you have is fortress,
God.
and that's when they have the laser.
They started the turbulence meta too, for sure, in my opinion. And it's like every time I play them, I could have a boost mine and 2 aura and be going to my spawn to pick up that 3rd aura particle, and bam, I hit with a turbulence. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then next, I have a decoy. I'm getting ready to hit one of them with it. Bam, I get turbulence. I'm like, come on.
Jesus, I'm telling you, Jesus.
Yeah, I love turbulence meta so much, and I hope it stays around forever. Evolution, did you give us your prediction?
I get 3 ore in all my moves before I get it.
Yeah. Did you give us your prediction? Okay, we can hold on if you got something going on. So I guess I'll give mine while he's otherwise occupied. I got to go the opposite direction. Like I feel like we saw this series in Swiss. We saw it happen multiple times in the last tournament as well. I mean, minus math plus murder. But Guinan has come out on top against Xanxus like the last 3 times in a row. He's had some fantastic matches against him, but the last one, like, he really shut the door hard. Like, it was 3-0. He just 3-0 Doom in an absolutely brutal fashion, similar to how he did it to Xanxus and Zexus. He won the last 2 tournaments. Like, the numbers don't lie. Like, it would be an upset, in my opinion. As good as I consider Xanxus and Zexus to be, and props to them on making the finals. Like, I just don't feel like they're going to be able to have the read on Guinan, because as much as they read their opponents well, Guinan knows their playbook to the T, and it showed in the Swiss rounds. And I think it's going to be closer in the finals than it was in the Swiss rounds, but I still don't think Xanxus and Zexus have a very high percentage chance of taking this. Love them, absolutely love them. Great players, but I feel like Guinan has the read, and the math from just going off past results definitely speaks in Guinan's favor.
Are you ready for me?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to take away what you said. I think that Guinan, like I've said, best technical player in the game, in my opinion. But, to stick up for Xanxus and Zexus, I know that they had a mic issue where Xanxus could not hear Zexus at all. So that could have been an issue with the 3-0. I don't want to make too many bold predictions, but I will. I'm leaning on X and Z to take it. I don't want to give a record. I don't want to give, anything like that. But it's gonna be close in my mind.
I guess, again, speaking to their favor, I did say earlier, I feel like it has been a renaissance since the early rounds of Swiss for Xanxus and Zexus. I feel like they have been on an upswing since that second week match versus Guinan.
I feel like ever since Nathan and Wolf, they've been on a hurricane in this tournament.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds of Swiss, Xanxus and Zexus didn't look too hot. Rounds 3, 4, and onwards, through playoffs, I have to admit I've been much more impressed with them than I was in the first 2 weeks. So I will give that in their favor. So maybe not an upset if they win, but I still have to favor Guinan in the matchup, I think. But maybe not calling it an upset.
I think I can say the same thing. If Guinan wins, I won't call it an upset by any means. But I'm Xanxus and Zexus.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that wraps us up for the tag tournament. I'm going to be excited to get that done. Oh, well, I guess the last thing we should touch on, I should have done it before we did the finals prediction. I forgot because I just wrote finals prediction. There will be a third and fourth place matchup between me and Monkey versus Doom and Kanye. That might be going on tomorrow, but we may have to reschedule it. But does anybody want to talk about that matchup at all?
I just want to hear you do another girly scream.
It wasn't girly. I'm offended.
It was excitable. We'll go with that.
Well, I
Was it really girly?
Whenever that match actually goes down.
It was a little girly.
Damn. That hurts. Sorry, you were
Okay,
silent.
I'm sorry. Maybe not girly. Maybe more like prepubescent little boy who got his first pube.
Oh, thanks. Silent, let's hear from you because you sounded like you had something that wasn't an insult about me.
I'll be definitely looking forward to that match between you two because I want to see what Kanye brings to that because we already know that Monkey's improved a lot and you're going to be you with your rock shot and whatever. But with Doom in your faces, I need to see because I already know what Doom's going to do. I just need to see that. To me will tell me how much further Kanye's come along.
Well, I think one thing that is worth noting is it's always weird when I make these kind of sayings whenever I'm involved in the match, but that both teams are coming off of a loss that they're probably very dissatisfied with. And so there's probably going to be less prep coming into the match for both teams than in previous rounds. So there's going to be salt and a lack of preparation. So it makes for an interesting playing field, I think.
I will say this. I would much rather play a salty, dissatisfied Bragan and Monkey than I would a salty, dissatisfied Doom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess that does wrap us up.
Be happy to be.
Well, let's do predictions for it real quick. Run down the line and just give me a prediction and briefly why. Afin, who wins that series and why?
Doom for balance.
Doom for balance. Evolution?
Doom for revenge.
Doom for revenge. Silent?
What are we giving? A prediction with a number of win matches or just whatever?
However you want. Who wins the series?
I can't hear nobody.
Just tell me who wins the series. Yeah.
I'm going to say Doom and Kanye win 3-2.
3-2 Doom and Kanye. So everybody believes in the revenge story of Doom and Kanye.
It's not even so much the revenge. I just think that you and Monkey won't be that serious.
Oh, we're serious. We're super serious. Better believe it.
See, that right there leads me to believe that you're going to rock shot it 3 times in a row.
No, we're not going to do that. But that does wrap us up for the tag tournament. Few plugs, I guess. We'll talk about there's a 1v1 tournament coming up. There's also a Battle Royale tournament. It's going to be happening on the 31st. It's going to be kind of like a Giant Slayer mode. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern on the 31st of March. So everybody show up for that one. It's our April Fool's tournament. We've got some fun rules that we're still hammering out the numbers on. We'll talk about the upcoming 1v1 as well, because I feel like this tag tournament gives us some fun storylines going into the next 1v1, just like it did last time. So going into this 1v1, what players are you excited about, and what matchup would you say you're most hyped to see happen in the 1v1? You want to take us away, Afin?
Are there any Japanese players in the 1v1 to run around the tree the whole time?
I mean, we can try to invite them, but the language barrier can be tough. I did try to invite a few last time.
For real, I want just any of the new people that have been coming in to get their feet wet and jump into the tournament play style, because every time I place anybody new, I'm hitting up their messages saying, hey, join the group, we do tournaments, we got a game group. So just anybody new footage we can see of them, I'm just anxious to see folks show up and play.
I think that would definitely be fun. We are always really open to having anybody new in the tournament. Like the way it's set up, we can always have more entrants. There is no cap to that. What about you, Evolution? Players you're excited to see and matchup you're hyped to see?
Oh, I don't know about players and matchups. I just know that I want revenge on Esper for the last 1v1 match.
Evolution is harboring a personal grudge, it seems. I know somebody else here is too.
My former tag partner, I showed him up on his own map, Palace. I beat him on Palace, but I want that sweet victory on Esper. So I'm hoping to see him.
I know we've got another grudge match harboring in here. I watched it in chat today. Goatrix, who we've sadly lost, so I can't hear his trash talk back. But I know Silent sounds like he's itching to beat his own partner, Goatrix. Am I right?
Listen, I was on yesterday. He no showed.
Oh, did he now? No showed. I guess we have to change the caption to the picture I have up here that Silent can't hit Goatrix with Jackpot if Goatrix doesn't show up for the match.
Exactly.
Rough.
I'm not much of a 1v1er, but I'd probably go at it with Goatrix once.
Here, I got a question for everybody not named Silent, real quick. Which matchup, in which version does Silent do more damage to Goatrix? In a tag match where he's using Jackpot, or in a 1v1?
Well, if Goatrix isn't on his team, then he's not going to hit him with the Jackpot.
Well, I mean, not just with Jackpot, but does he do more damage overall to Goatrix in a 1v1, just in a 1v1?
No,
or whenever he's tagging with him
he's
with Jackpot?
Pot and then res him and then kill him again with Jackpot.
Yeah,
So
that's
tag team
true.
for sure.
Tag team for sure.
I mean, if I have to break it down by numbers,
Jackpot.
I see Goatrix 20 health all the matches as long as Silent brings Jackpot in any of his arsenals.
Unless it's tag, in which case Silent is the other team's MVP.
But he's a jumper.
I think in my series versus them, I think Silent may have done more damage to Goatrix than either me and Monkey did. Absolutely.
Yeah,
possible.
but I think Monkey jackpotted and did damage to you.
We don't talk about that. That didn't happen. But yeah, the 1v1 signups should be coming up here soon, right around the time that the 2v2 tournament ends. I hope to see all of you joining it, all of you listening, all of you here in the podcast, all of you members of the Phantom Dust community. It's a lot of fun. The last 1v1 went really well. We got footage of almost every matchup. It was very exciting.
Hold on, Bregan. Who's your favorite matchup coming? And
well, honestly, I just want to see some of these other top 4 players. Like, I guess, like, the same thing we talked about earlier, the tournament match that we didn't get to see, we still have yet to ever see Xanxus play Doom in a tournament match in either tournament. All the other top teams have played each other multiple times, but that matchup still hasn't happened. And so if it has to happen in the 1v1, I would love to see a 5-6 game set between Xanxus and Doom slugfest.
I have one better than Xanxus and Doom for the 1v1 tournament. I would like to see Xanxus versus Zexus.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that one, too. I know I talked about that one in a previous cast or something. I would love to see that matchup. So, yeah, Zexus, stop hiding behind Xanxus in the tag matches and sign up for the 1v1. Consider yourself officially called out, you little woman. Shaking in your boots. Sign up for the 1v1. Yeah, I guess that mostly wraps us up. Just talking about upcoming tournaments. Hope everybody participates and appreciates the podcasts. Let everybody here know that participated. Send a message. Let them know that you appreciate them being here and the work they do to Evolution, to Silent, to Afin Show. And thank you guys for being here tonight. It's been fun. It's a shame we lost a few people partway through, but we were glad to have Goatrix and Filthy for the part of the time that we had as well. And does anybody have any parting words they'd like to say?
This is my Mimic one.
Next tag tournament. Watch out.
Mimic and Evolution in the next tag tournament. And what'd you say, Silent?
I said, this is the first one I was on, and I may be back. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure having you. Afin, any last words?
You being allergic to the meta and not talking to anybody.
All right. Take
Hey,
care.
you're
And
the one with the mic problems, aren't you?
Just usually I'm watching UFC while I'm playing.
well, now we know why Afin does so well in the tag tournaments. And thanks everybody, and have a good night.